The documentary will air in Spanish with captions on December 1st, 15th, and 29th. Conflicted, simultaneously prepared to defend and ready to attack, poised for anything to happen but wanting nothing to, aggressive and hesitant, nerves afraid, guts in knots, face to face with a faceless enemy, lives lost, lives saved, always living in turmoil, victor and victim, freedom fighter, terrorist, collateral damage, death toll, cop, criminal, us, them, all of us at war.
Apollo! Apollo! Lead! Get lead!
War, it seems, is an ingrained part of the human condition. History is littered with warfare, conflicts filled with conflicting motives, conflicting emotions, conflicting interpretations. Art, literature, and film find inspiration in the triumph and tragedy of war. And the Sci-Fi Channel continues in the tradition of exploring war's many dimensions in Battlestar Galactica.
This is the commander. Moments ago, this ship received word of a Cylon attack against our home worlds is underway. How, why, doesn't really matter now. What does matter is that as of this moment, we are at war.
We find fascination in war and the fascination of the human condition inside of the war situation.
Go, guys, go!
Decompression heading toward the port pod.
What are your orders, sir? Sir?
It's also a perfect place to tell drama. I mean, drama is all about conflict, and there is no greater conflict than war. It's also the history of man.
There is another device in the film, and it's up to the viewer to decide if it is propaganda or not, and it has to do with Laura's cancer.
I'm afraid the tests are positive. The mass is malignant.
She strikes you more by her vulnerability, that is, you want her to succeed because she is just like the rest of us.
Humans and Cylons seem to employ some tried and true propaganda techniques. But does the propaganda play to a willing viewing audience?
We are being psychologically manipulated into imagining what it would be like to be opposed by this kind of force.
I am not on anybody's side.
Do the words and deeds of certain characters embody beliefs that the audience will likely find themselves nodding in agreement or shaking their heads in disgust?
Propaganda stifles doubt. It gets us to nod agreement to something that our minds would ordinarily reject.
Battlestar Galactica clearly finds inspiration in many different places in our world. War is hell, an accurate cliche that digs down to war's multiple layers. And war's many dimensions create a highly charged backdrop for telling a story.
It's futile, it's terrible, it's awful. It's also a fact.
Battlestar Galactica delivers a story fraught with and filled with questions. Is it simply an entertainment vehicle? Or are its characters challenging questions, its ambiguities, projecting warfare in a way that causes audiences to reflect upon it?
In the end, the humans in the film must appear to be better morally, to be carrying out a more just war than the Cylons.
Is it firing a warning shot in our direction about how we deal with the conflicts that can result from the things that we create? And if Battlestar Galactica is indeed promoting a deep reflection on warfare, is that cause enough to consider this film an example of war propaganda? And in Battlestar Galactica, you really do get a cross-section of the goodness and the difficulties of war, the people who live inside of war. Is it pro-war? Is it anti-war? Is it neither? Conflicted.
every so often